welcome you guys. I'm really, really excited to welcome you to the 2024 Longevity Biotech Fellowship and Foresight Longevity Frontiers Workshop. It's really a delight to have you all here. Who here has been to an LBF or Foresight event before? I guess everyone in uniform. Who's new? Who's not been to an event like this before? Amazing. Okay, so then everyone who's been to one of our events before, you have to take the others by the hand because I think it's going to get quite rowdy. We have a ton of programming and much more than we could hopefully get through. But yeah, look, just take this as your team of 60, 70 people for this weekend. Connect with each other, like really treat this as like an opportunity to like push the frontiers of longevity science forward. I'm really so happy that we got to do this event together. I've been a really big fan of the Longevity Biotech Fellowship since its existence and emergence. And we have so much overlap in terms of people that we support and also in terms of focus areas, frankly. And so I'm really delighted that we get to co-host this, merge the communities and expand the field a bit. And so, yeah, I hope it's not the last time that we do this. We'll see. You can be the judge of that. And I really, really want to thank our sponsors. If you've been sponsoring this event, please raise your hand. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're the reason why we can give travel subsidies, subsidized tickets, and so forth. And so this really wouldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. All right, so I will talk a little bit in a second about what we're going to do today. But before that, for those that may not know very much about Foresight, I'll do a brief intro to like why do we care about this field from our end. Then you hear from Sonia and from Mark, and then we're off to like very, very rapid lightning talks and workshops. Okay, so Foresight has been around longer than I've been around, since 1986. And we were founded by Christine Peterson and Eric Drexler on this vision of like making positive futures happen by supporting undervalued science and technology. And so we specifically focus on the type of science and tech that is too early stage for legacy funders to support. And what drew me to Foresight is I've been interested in longevity, I think literally since I can remember. Like I remember being very young and not wanting to go to bed because to me sleeping was like a little death every night. And that was very weird to have that thought in Hamburg, in a tiny suburb in Germany. And then I was like, okay, well, am I just crazy or are there any others out there like that? And eventually I discovered Foresight on the internet, literally. Went into our archives and I was like, oh my God, there's this group of people that has cared about this since 1986. And they're actually trying to do something about it. And so I cold emailed them basically and reached out. And that's what got me here. And I think many of the areas that we're discussing, even the ones that are perhaps like, a little bit more, I guess like on the frontier, like, biostasis, cryonics, Foresighters have been signed up to that, I think, since the existence of Alcor. So like they really like had the skin in the game in the weird niches of that field since the early beginnings. And I was really, really excited about that. So I'm very, very happy to now be running the org. We have a lot of our team here as well. And we don't just do longevity biotech, but we have other programs too. So we have a program in intelligent corporation. So that's basically like decentralized secure AI, molecular nanotechnology, that was our founding vision, like actually building from the bottom up. Newer technology that has been like an exploding track in the last year. So BCIs all the way to whole brain emulations, longevity biotech, which is, I guess, our contribution to this track, space, and existential hope. And existential hope is the banner that like wraps our programs in a positive kind of like direction. And so within each of these tracks, we have like similar programs. So that's the workshop. We have annual workshops like this, and we're very happy to now be collaborating with you guys. There's a bunch of past workshops as well. The last one, was really just about a year ago, where many of you were, but definitely not all of you. We're collaborating with VitaDAO, the Methuselah Foundation, and Lifespan.io and other organizations on a longevity prize. So many of the projects here are probably eligible for that prize. So if you're interested in that, do check it out. And then we host a ton of seminars. So many of you here, who here has presented in a Foresight seminar before? Or who here is at least in them? Yeah, many of you are in them. So today the presentations are very, very short. But if you want to discuss your work at length, like just hit me up and we can book a longer seminar. So many people here in this Google group and meet for like these monthly virtual seminars. Last but not least, we have our fellows. The fellowship is now, I guess, in its 7th year. It's been growing very, very dramatically. And so in each of the tracks, we have a fellowship, and we have a bunch of our fellows here. So thanks a lot for coming. There's definitely some overlap between LBF fellows as well, which is really, really wonderful. And then last but not least, we've started growing to kind of like map the areas a tech tree that there's a QR code out there if you're interested in that. But Aaron King, who's around here, he's over there. We've been basically working on like trying to map the field as in terms of like frontier technologies within longevity that we care about. So if you have the goal of radical life extension, you know, like what are the different sub goals, such as removing aging damage, whole body replacement, cybernetic body replacement, regenerative repair pathways, reduce the rate of age of damage accumulation, and then it spins out into various different like black nodes. Those are the technology nodes here. And so, and then various different orange nodes, those are the challenges. So the idea is like, okay, let's map the long-term goal. Let's map the different technologies that are required to get there. Let's map the challenges that people can take on so that new talent and funders entering the space have at least a rough set, a map of like how to orient themselves. And I guess the interesting thing is that if you click on each node, it gives you an explanation of it, gives you various labs and companies working on this stuff to just get like easily situated. It's basically like an API into this into the space. Built out with various different roadmaps and other data sources. And the interesting thing is that it's AI queryable. So if you don't want to like go through the whole tree yourself, you can just open up a node and you have a chatbot right there. So this one is, please tell me why whole body preservation is relevant to longevity and explain me this node. And it can basically like, you know, filter out the tree and like give you like a text explanation of the different nodes and how they're relevant to the entire tree. So the idea is that like in an easier fashion, you can like onboard people faster, they can query the tree and so forth. But I'm mostly showing you this here because there is a lot of overlap between the areas that you guys have in the roadmap, because we also used it to build it, and the areas that you guys care about. So I'm really, really excited to hone in on those. And thank you also, Michael, for hosting us tomorrow. It's really a pleasure to be there at Stanford tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Yeah, so I'm really excited to dive deeper into them. If you want to learn more about tech trees, talk to Aaron or me. I'm really, really happy to discuss them at nausea. They're still in beta version, so please contribute to them, help make them better. But that's kind of our angle on this workshop. So we're trying to like align our programs more with this. Okay, so what are we doing today? So who here knows how to access this program? Okay, those of you who don't, there are QR codes around everywhere. You can literally just like scan the QR codes and it gives you all the different documents and information that you need for this workshop. But in a nutshell, this program is very collaborative. It's going to be rather fast. And so we have like different sessions running at light speed, you know, like back to back, basically. You have all the links again here. So who here has filled out the participant introductions form yet? A few of you. So if you want to introduce yourself to the group, this is not shared outside of this group, feel free to fill out the introductions form. And that helps people like big time find each other even after the workshop. I often see people online in these documents years after when I like go back on them. And so it really, really helps. So take this seriously. If you want to introduce yourself, this is the way to go. Has lots of questions there for you to fill out. Okay, so I'll fill in the Wi-Fi password in a second, but who is in the WhatsApp group? Good. If you're not in the WhatsApp group but want to be, there's a QR code for that as well. So you should all be able to connect with each other in various different forms, documents, and hopefully in person. But we have a pretty packed program. So we're going to hear from Sonia in a second, Mark, and Nathan, and then we're always going to do the different focus areas of this workshop as speed talks, and then there will be a small workshop after that. Then we have the second round of speed talks, this time on replacement, and small workshop after that. We'll have lunch, then we have bioengineering, very short talks, and then a workshop after that, cryopreservation, short talks, and a workshop on that topic afterwards. And then you can kind of like vote and hone in on the topics that you're like most excited about. Mark will tell you a little bit more about the workshops. Yeah, we really want you guys to collaborate with each other. So that just today, tomorrow, we're not here, but at Stanford, we're going to do the same thing, but this time for Healthcare 3.0 and the longevity ecosystem investing and biomarkers and aging. So we have a lot of topics to cover. So you like have to kind of like, you know, pick the one that you're most interested in eventually. But for now, let's learn a little bit. Okay, I think this is all on my end on organizational bits and pieces. With that, I guess I would love to welcome Sonia to the stage. So Sonia has been, I guess, I remember one of the first workshops that I hosted at Foresight 7 years ago. It was on longevity. It was on nanotechnology for longevity. And it was a very small community back then. We were in, I think, Palo Alto in like some members club next to the squash courts in Elks Club or Elks Lodge in a tiny room next to a squash court. Very few people cared about that stuff then. And it's really inspiring to see how the field has grown. And you've been a big part of it. You wrote a fantastic book, 100 plus, and you've been investing very actively in the field. And you have a big interest area in many of the areas that we're discussing. So do you want to give you a welcome? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Allison. Well, welcome, everyone. I'll say welcome again, because this is going to be such a great day. I have to say, I walked into this room today, all not quite caffeinated yet, and started talking to people, and just like everything electrifies. There's so many great people here and so many great ideas, and you guys are all going to have a fantastic day. So congratulations for being here. And thank you, Allison and Mark, for putting this together. So in the spirit of lightning, I'm going to keep my remarks really short, and that's why I don't have any slides. As Allison mentioned, I spend my time these days investing in longevity companies mostly through my firm 100 Plus Capital, but I also work with Portfolio and then a larger firm, Felicis Ventures. I have been attending Foresight events for 20 plus years, if you can believe it. No. And yeah, and the field has really changed over that time. The people are still all really great, though. That's one thing that has never changed. And I have to say that, in every single event that I go to, I've been to multiple workshops and vision events, which if you haven't been to a vision event, you should look it up. It's like around every December. I always walk out with, new business contacts, new friends, new ideas, all of that kind of thing. And it's really, really valuable. So I'm really happy to be here. I was looking at the themes for today's meeting and tomorrow's meeting, and they read almost like a playbook for the kinds of things that I invest in at 100 plus. So I really like that. Tools to increase progress in biotech. I recently invested in a lab automation company that's working on that kind of stuff. And I actually met that company through a contact that I met at the last Vision Weekend. And then, replacement, swapping out old for young parts. I have 2 companies that are doing tissue engineering stuff. I think both of them might be here today, actually, which is great. Bioengineering, I have a gene therapy company. Biostasis, that's the one area that I don't have a company in.
We can fix that.
Right, and that's the one that's a little further out, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm not interested in exploring what kind of options are there. And then, of course, healthcare 3.0. I have lots of companies in there, body scan companies, diet companies, all that kind of thing. And all of these people are working together to build a better future where we can have healthier, longer lives, which is fantastic. So all of this is to say that, Foresight and now LBF are on the, cutting edge of all of this stuff. And I really appreciate it. I'm so happy to be involved. I'm on the board now. I've been on the board for a couple of years because I love it so much. And I know this isn't a fundraising event, but I will just put it in your minds that if you're looking to donate to a nonprofit, these 2 should be at the top of your list because they really, for the money that you put in, the impact is huge. So thank you and enjoy your day. I'll hand it off to Mark.
Great.